just it makes no fucking sense to me. Like, uh,
Okay, what's your favorite movie?
my favorite movie. Oh,
Yep.
this is the thing. I have the
Scarface.
stupidest fucking. Wow, why? Because I'm fucking Hispanic. Fuck you, asshole.
No, 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 not even. No,
It's actually
it's a
Dumb and
stereo.
Dumber.
No, it's a stereotype in like the Southwest that every douchebag's favorite movie is Scarface.
That's about right. Actually, I know a lot of white people who really like that movie.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Just like in general, like every douchebag that I went to school with always loved Scarface.
Who doesn't fucking like Scarface though?
It was
I
like
didn't
their
give a
favorite
shit.
movie
I
was
didn't give a
always
shit about that
Scarface.
movie.
What?
I didn't give a shit about it.
That movie
You
is
know,
the
it's
fuck.
probably because it got so overplayed by douchebags.
Well, thank you. Oh, you mean FX?
I never saw it.
I
I
you
I
need.
probably well, I've seen it one time. I was probably 23 when I first saw it,
You're 23
but
right now.
I'm actually 22 right now,
Oh, well there you go. You're gonna see it
so
tomorrow.
I
You're
saw it next
22?
year. I'm 21 actually. I
Holy
like to
shit, you're younger than
lie.
me.
Don't listen to this
Nah,
jackass.
dude, I'm like 30. It's cool.
Um,
See, that's what I thought.
he,
That was the intuition I got was that you were older than me,
he,
and then like you just fucking wrecked my world.
he keeps going back a fucking year. I'm actually 12 and
It's like, what the
fuck.
fuck?
Oh, theoretically. Uh, yeah,
In
no,
theory,
in theory. No, I saw it. It was okay. It wasn't the worst movie that I ever saw.
I said Dumb and Dumber was my favorite movie, but it's not. I just said that because it's like in my top fucking 10. That movie's fucking amazing. It's just fucking, I don't know why. It's hilarious. It's the stupidest movie ever. I like that type of shit. There's this
It's
fucking
real
movie.
dumb, and it gets even dumber.
Yes, there's this movie. There's this movie called Shaolin Soccer. Exactly. No one knows about it. And it's like these there's again, it's like these a soccer team and imagine like Dragon Ball Z meets like fucking soccer. And like now whenever you kick the ball it comes out with superpowers. It's like the stupidest movie ever, but the fucking like the graphics and the CGI are fucking not CGI. What the fuck am I talking about? It's just the movie's amazing. It's a stupid movie. I like stupid movies. I don't like scary movies though. I fucking say
You don't?
no. Why the
I
fuck?
love scary
Why go
movies.
to a fucking movie when you're fucking over here like you know what the paranormal activities? Fuck you in the asshole. Oh shit! The fucking door opens and a fucking loud noise comes out.
All right. I liked the first one. I liked the idea of it. It could have been a lot better.
Could have
It could have.
if it had
But
more
the fact that it
tits.
was like a hand cam, I love fucking hand cam movies, dude. They're so like, especially scary ones. Like, did you ever see Cloverfield?
No,
That movie was awesome because it was done with a hand cam. Did you ever see the Poughkeepsie tapes?
no.
Ooh, I love that fucking movie, dude. It's so fucked up, but the only reason it is as good as it is because it's a hand cam.
Mm.
Like, it makes it seem obviously like a real fucking movie. You know what I mean? Um,
you probably like VHS if you haven't seen that.
I started watching it, but I didn't finish it. I might have fallen asleep.
Is that the one movie with Weird Al Yankovic?
That's you. That's UHC.
VHI, VH1, DVD. I don't give a fuck.
DVDA.
Yes, I don't give a shit. Fuck it. You know what?
Um,
This is a perfect time to just start the fucking podcast. Why the fuck not? I gave you the
do it.
fucking links and shit. Share that shit, cocksuckers.
I already did.
Oh, motherfucker.
Oh, oh, it's about to get crazy.
Mother. Twerk that fucking ass.
Ooh.
I'm doing it right now. Look at this shit. Twerking what my mama gave me. Left cheek, right cheek, left cheek, right cheek.
Hell,
Oh,
The worst
oh.
visual of my life.
Hell yeah. Upside down helicopter split, motherfucker.
I did not
Those
approve.
those women that fucking do that shit are fucking crazy. Like they do the upside down split into the helicopter and then they go to the pole and then I don't know what the fuck.
Again, we talked about it last time, but it's because your dad fucked him. Just saying.
Alright. Oh, good God. Do we even need introductions for this shit? Like, hey, welcome, guys, to the fuck you. We're back, bitches. End of
Yes,
story.
hi guys. Tonight I proof with Caesar and Mark and our special guest is Zara.
I can
That was
just
a
Go
like,
to
I can just
go to
picture
ONNIC.com.
with
Get
a
it Conan Brogan.
with a voice like
Sarah.
that. Like I can just see you like getting like your index finger and pulling your glasses back into position because they're falling down from all the sweat because you've been watching too much fucking Galactic or whatever the fuck.
I actually have to do that because I got a new pair of glasses.
Oh,
And
good. Why'd you get contact lenses,
I have them. I'm actually wearing them right now. But I had to get glasses as well.
dude?
But the lenses are so fucking thick because I have astigmatism. So they're like twice, almost 3 times the size as my last glasses.
It's so
And
fucking
they're just
attractive.
falling down. Dude, Katie says I look like a pedophile. So, joke's on her. Never mind. But, yeah, I can't go around Chuck E. Cheese anymore.
Oh shit, that's disgusting. The
Anyways,
fuck was I gonna say? Oh, I know what the fuck I was gonna say. Today we got a fucking guest, you fucking filthy animals, you nasty sons of sluts. And by that I just mean my good friend Brock Zara. How you doing, sir?
Hi.
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 Yes, he is a he again. What school?
Arizona State University.
Arizona State fucking University. Go Cougars.
Yeah, that's totally what it is.
Is it?
my mom's hot.
No, it's not.
What is it?
Oh, actually, it's the Sun Devils.
The Sun Devils?
Yeah, not kidding.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's Arizona, you know.
Wait, Lucifer?
University of Arizona is it's Lucifer. It's totally Lucifer.
Are you? Hold on. So you're a philosopher and a mathematician.
Among
What
other
aren't
things,
you?
yes.
Watch out, bitches. You don't need a calculator on this asshole.
I ain't no bitch. That's what I'm not.
Hey, no, bitch. That's right. Oh my god. All right. So Sun Devil. That's what we're going about. So are you an atheist?
I guess you'd call me that. Yes.
Really?
Let me put it this way. Um, I reject the proposition that there exists at least one God. But aside from that, like I feel like atheism is becoming a movement, like an activist movement sort of thing, and I'm not about that. So
Do you think there's more than one God then?
no, like I said, I reject the proposition that there exists at least one God, which means that I don't believe that there are any.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. I thought you were like Indian and shit, and it's like, holy shit, here comes the god
No,
of wind
no.
and the god of the trees and the god of dicks and whatever the fuck you believe in. I don't know what the fuck.
Well,
The god of dicks.
to
That's
put
right.
it simply, if there exists a God, then I do not have the ability to conceptualize him or envision what he is because I've never actually seen this God or had any contact with this God.
See, I've had a problem with it. I'm sorry to jump in, but
No, go ahead.
I want to make that when you're done, like that point.
No, go right ahead.
No, keep talking.
That was it, really.
It's a fucking podcast. Somebody
Son of a
fucking talk.
bitch.
Fucking shit, man.
Fuck the whole flow up. Cut it.
Fuck both of you then. If you guys don't listen, the reason why
Okay.
Zara.
So I guess I'll expand.
All right.
What I'm meaning to say is that I don't. I don't think that any of the current conceptualizations of God are consistent. For one, I think that everybody seems to have their own idea of what God is and what God does and what his involvement in the world is. Like either God is, literally God guides me on everything I do. He told me to go to fucking Dunkin' Donuts this morning and get a coffee. And then there are people who are just like, God just sort of, watches us and that's it. So I have like no idea when people say that they believe in God, that they're like a Christian, I have no idea what that actually means. Are they like fucking crazy and think that he literally speaks to them every morning and tells them like when the best time to take their morning shit is? Or does God just kind of exist somewhere in the fucking stratosphere and you don't really ever see him or have anything to do with him, but you pray to him every night or you pray to him when you eat or whatever?
It's 4:30, by the way. It's the best time to take a shit.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
4:31.
4:30 a.m. That's pretty fucking early.
You gotta wake somebody up.
Well, I said your morning shit. I guess if you wake up at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and that can be your morning shit. But otherwise, I don't know.
You know what? We're gonna piss off a lot of people today because we're gonna talk about a lot of fucking topics that are gonna fucking blow your dick out. I'm just saying. Listen, this whole shit with God, like, okay, I believed in God for so long because that's how my family. Well, it wasn't even my family, man. Like my dad's like whatever. He's something's up there. And then my mom was like, yeah, whatever, something's up there too. And like my grandma was the one that's like, yo, this motherfucker's scary. So you gotta do everything you fucking gotta do. Like what he says, if not, you're fucked, and you're going down there, and you're going to hell, and you're gonna fucking burn, and you're gonna look like bacon, like crispy bacon. And she's like, fuck, I don't want to do that shit. So you gotta follow the
I don't want
rules.
to do that.
But I think people use that to like as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like you go through life and shit. And I was thinking about that today because I'm excuse me, I'm going to work, and somehow everything worked out perfectly. I left a little late today, but at the end of the fucking morning, I'm like, you know what? Everything fucking worked out. Then I'm thinking about it. Is it God that did this? Things worked out just fucking perfect because He made it that way. Is it the universe that made shit like that? Or is it just dumb fucking luck that I didn't fucking die on the way over here? You know what I'm saying? And I think this is why when people go, I'm using this term very loosely, crazy. When people get schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever, it's like they see this God. It's like, oh yeah, I see him and he talks to me sometimes and he tells me to do this, this and that. Okay, if your God's so good, then why is he telling you all this shit? Kill Ramon or whatever the fuck. Like, that's fucked up. I think people use God as a crutch so that they can continue living their life. And if something fucks up, they can always rely on it's gonna be okay because God, or everything's good because of God. That's my 2 cents. I don't mean to offend anybody. If you believe in God, you know what?
Good for you.
No, yeah, good for you. And I'm not 100% certain either that there isn't a God. Who fucking knows? What if it's fucking aliens that brought us here and we're just a bunch of fucking colony ants and shit? You don't know that shit. I was thinking about that too. I'm fucking driving down the highway and shit, and there's a fucking bunch of cars just weaving and bobbing everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? This reminds me of like when I was a kid and you saw this fucking red gigantic ants just fucking walking through a trail and just going weaving and wobbling all left and right and shit like a fucking traffic. And I would just pick one up and I pick another one up and I make them fight together. It'd be fucking awesome and shit. And I chop off their heads and then I ate one and tastes like coconut. It's fucking horrible. Ants taste like coconut, I swear, and that's why I hate coconut. Fuck coconut.
Whoa. I accept you. But you can love God all you want, but you're never gonna say fuck coconuts,
I
man.
just did, asshole. Fuck coconut. They taste like ants.
Maybe
That's
yeah.
that's weird that you even
It's
know
kind of your
that.
problem, I think.
Yeah, I think that's your fault. So you're
Fine.
Sugar-eating ants.
Fine,
It's
I,
irrelevant.
I fucked up my own taste buds. Fuck me. I hate ants
fucked
and
it
I
up.
hate coconut.
Fucked everything up.
But, um, okay, God. That's what we're talking about. A lot of people. Let me ask you both this, and especially Mr. Philosopher, since we have him here. But I really do want to hear about what Mark has to say about this. Um, what do you think is going to happen to us in the future? Because a lot of kids that I've seen in today's society realize a lot of shit that I wish I would have fucking known a long time ago. Like right now, they actually have a voice. They're 8, 9-year-old kids who have a fucking voice, who start believing in like these theories and shit. Like, you know what? Maybe there isn't a God, or fuck you. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, and this is this and that and that. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen in the future?
I think that everybody, I don't see, when I say everybody, I mean most people, if they choose to, or if they come across the conclusion that they do not want to, I shouldn't say they don't want to, but that they can't believe in God anymore for whatever reason, they can't hold on to the idea and believe it in good faith. I think people sort of go through this, it's almost an existential crisis in its own right, because if you started at the default position, right, of believing that there was a God and that your life had meaning purely by his approval, like your life was your worth was based upon whether or not he approved of you,
Right.
which means you go to church, you pray, you don't steal from your mom's purse, you do good in school,
Yes.
or whatever the fuck your parents told you that God wanted you to do,
Right.
and it was basically your parents or your church that told you that God wants you to do this,
Right.
so that's your moral arbiter, that's your moral anchor. you base all of your decisions upon this person's approval. And when that is gone, you no longer have an identity. Fucking someone's calling me. Hold on 1 second.
Jesus Christ.
You can.
We get a... Jeez, are you fucking kidding me?
Let me.
No, I'm not. I gotta take this though. 1 second.
That was
Of course.
Zara, Brock Zara. He's a philosopher from Arizona State.
We get a fucking philosopher and this fucking guy's getting fucking bitches calling him right now. The fucking life. Get the fuck out of here. Where is his ass?
It's probably Petey calling him up.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
I know, he's always...
Hey, listen. Do you think, like, philosophers get, like, mad pussy? Like, just...
Absolutely
right?
not.
No?
No, not at all.
Come on.
Nah, dude, they really don't. In general, nah, I would say no, not at all. I don't know. It's... You know why?
Why?
Because no one gives a fuck about who can think. You're not making money off of being a fucking podcast or a fucking philosopher. Unless you're making money, you're not getting pussy.
I don't know about that.
Or you're a comedian.
You don't... Was Albert Einstein making mad money back in the day?
No, dude.
He was getting pussy, though.
Making money. He was only making money because he was so fucking smart. He was not getting pussy except from his wife. And even then he was like, just don't talk to me for the 8 hours a day I'm working on being a fucking genius. So
wink, aka leave me the fuck alone because I'm trying to fucking...
Yeah, he actually had a contract with his wife.
Really?
To be like, yeah, he's like, you cannot talk to me while I'm in my office or something to that effect. And it's like, if you do, you're gonna get bitch dad or whatever their fucking contract was. But nah, he did not let his wife talk to him while he was working.
Dude, we need a contract.
Yeah,
ASAP. By the way, shout out to all our Canadian listeners. Fucking A.
Canada.
Speaking of Canadian, my fucking brother-in-law brought like some fucking whiskey and it had like Canadian maple syrup. That shit's fucking delicious, dude. That is fucking good shit right there. Drank it all up.
Oof, Canadian whiskey, dude. Have you, if you like whiskey, Cabin Fever, it's a maple whiskey. It's fucking good as shit.
I just got into whiskey, though. I don't know. I used to drink a lot of beer, but beer is just, I don't know. This is really, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Okay, I'm back.
Beer's okay. Beer's alright.
No, I had to, I'm coordinating. I'm picking up a fucking car tonight, after the podcast, and they fucking apparently didn't realize that they had told me that they were going to be doing it. It'd be after 9:30 my time, and they're like, "So when you come in here? I thought you were coming here." I'm like, "Yeah, so never mind. That's neither here nor there." Or did you say anything about the subject?
No,
before you segued, or do you want to keep just going along? Sorry, I'm ruining everybody's flow, but
we're asking if philosophers get pussy.
Oh, we don't. Well,
see, I told you, man, they don't.
Not by virtue of being philosophers, no.
But
philosopher isn't a profession, really. It's just kind of at least I don't see it as a profession. I don't see it as something that somebody would do for fucking to make money. I don't intend to make money unless I write a book or something and I manage to convince tons of people that I'm brilliant.
I thought you were writing a book.
I'm writing a book, but it's not a philosophy book per se.
What's the book about?
It's just a fiction book but I guess it's philosophical in the sense that it's didactic. I'm attempting to sort of turn a mirror on the world and make people try to maybe. The premise of the series or the book that I'm doing is that humanity has had several attempts at we've evolved multiple times, basically, the idea. So we get to a certain point in civilization and then we nuke ourselves back into the Stone Age, or we all go extinct for some reason, and then the planet eventually recovers because there's really no reason why the planet would be permanently affected by the things that we're doing to it, if indeed we are doing anything to it. Whether we wipe ourselves out by our own doing or whether a comet hits us or whatever, humanity dies out and then we eventually reemerge, maybe slightly different, but we reemerge regardless because the conditions that the planet has created for us allow us to evolve a certain way. So it's basically civilization multiple times over, and people continue to make the same mistakes in different ways. And I just sort of want to try and hold up a mirror to the basic, really, really old adage that people who do not, learn their history tend to repeat it. And even people who do learn their history tend to repeat it anyway and think that they aren't. Because I take inventory of things that happen around me on a microcosmic scale of people in my life who make decisions and continue to make the same bad decisions. And I also take account of things that have happened in history that continue to happen into modern, day-to-day life. And the fact that people simply do not see these things, or they either choose to ignore them, they don't believe that they're there, or they legitimately just don't give a shit that they're happening. They're like, oh well, whatever. This is human nature. This is how things will be, and they don't want to attempt to drag themselves away from the fate that awaits them. So I mean, it's not necessarily the book that I'm working on right now is not set up to be very, very preachy or very philosophical in that sense that it's going to lay this out for you in so many words. But I'm setting the stage for something like that just by putting the story out there and putting the setting out there and putting the characters out there, I guess.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but there's no fucking way that a comet's gonna fucking kill us, because we're gonna have
Oh
like
my
fucking
god, dude.
Aerosmith fucking playing in the background, and we're gonna like send a rocket over there and then fucking blast it the fuck out. There's no way we're gonna fucking die like that. Kill ourselves? I see that shit.
See, all right. So everything, for the most part, that I gathered from what you said, Zara, I agree with, and I've actually thought about myself. Um, like how you said it was like society builds itself up and then gets destroyed and continues that cycle over and over again. I've wondered myself. Basically, all right. So right now, we, as the human race in this century, whatever, we work on recycling things. Like, oh, yeah, plastic, you recycle it, blah, blah, blah. Now that this is kind of jumping segments and all sorts of facets of or whatever. So we have 3D printers and shit now. So are we, or do you think we could get to a point where we have recycling and production at such a level, however it would be put, that we can recycle the things that we produce to the point where if, let's say, a meteor hits and it just wipes everything out, we're done. Like, you wouldn't even know that we're around or we were around because the things that we produce, the earth itself could recycle regardless of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like you know how we have cell phones? Those will last 200 years after humans are gone, whereas pyramids, they clearly last tens of thousands of years. So but we don't do that stuff anymore. Or like really old houses from what, the 1600s or the 1700s, we still have those now, even without maintenance. So it's like those will survive, maybe 1,000 years, whereas the houses that we build today will last 20 years without maintenance.
Right.
Do you see us getting to the point where if humans are gone, everything we have is gone, and it's just a reset back to, the 1700s?
The 1700s is not that far away. Like from the standpoint that I was starting at, which is that humanity is completely gone, and we basically re-evolve ourselves from protoplasm or fish or whatever. I think that process takes billions of years. That's literally like the stuff that you mentioned, living a couple hundred years or like 10,000s of years. That's nothing. It's just it would be gone. The soil. The earth itself would literally swallow it up as the tectonic plates shifted and soil was, carried by wind, and just eventually it would just all be gone. There would be no evidence that there was anything left. I think that, I agree with, there are certain things, right, that will take a lot longer to be consumed by the earth than others. Like you said, and for instance, plastic, people have noticed, that plastic doesn't really isn't biodegradable in the same way that things that are made from, say, like wood are. So, or even metal. So when you have shit made out of plastic, and you know how it gets all into the ocean, and everybody's like, "Well, we're polluting the fuck out of the ocean, motherfuckers. What are we gonna do about this problem?" It's because the plastic isn't gonna do anything really to degrade itself in the ocean. It's just going to get carried out to a certain location and start a giant fucking trash heap. But I think that if what you say comes to pass, say if we manage to, and this is an example of something that I consider to be a possibility versus a probability, I don't think that we're ever going to reach 100% efficiency, because I think that 100% efficiency, I think 100% of anything is very, very, it's a very, very lofty goal to aspire towards.
Have you guys seen that one movie where what the fuck is the name of that movie? It's like where like this guy signs up for this fucking program, and then he like they put him in a pod or something, and he wakes up in the future and everyone's a fucking moron.
Idiocracy?
Yes, that's the movie. I think that's where we're gonna be. Why? I just do. I don't know. Don't ask me why or do I have any fucking points. No, I just think we're all fucking. I just think we're all fucking retarded. That's where we're fucking going. Listen, a lot of people, if they listen to this podcast, they'll be like, boring, fuck this. You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna go listen to Two Chains. I'm gonna go play Street Fighter, and I'm gonna fucking smoke my weed, and I'm gonna get my fucking check, and it's a fucking done deal, and I'm gonna fuck my bitch. That's all they fucking care about. They don't give a fuck about like what we're talking about. For example, common sense.
Yeah, no one does.
Something women don't have, and by the way, I think women have a lot to do with like the deterioration of fucking society, and then just I'm telling you,
Of
like
course they do. They're half the
when
population.
when women when I'm telling you, when a woman becomes president, we're all fucked. I swear to God, I'm going to Canada. Fuck this shit, or I'm going to Mexico.
Haven't they had a female prime minister? I honestly don't know Canada's history, so I wouldn't know.
I think so. I think they have. I don't know. Dude, I'm not going to get political or anything, but Elizabeth Warren, way to go.
Who's that? Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't just say that and then wink and then you're fucking done.
No, I'm not going to get. I'm not getting into politics. But,
Now we gotta Google this shit. Elizabeth Warren. She's ugly looking. What about her?
Look,
okay.
you can discuss politics without having it be a fucking like Obama's a fucking immigrant from Kenya and outer space.
Come on.
George Bush is Hitler. We don't have to devolve into that kind of shit,
That's
because
what I believe.
I take for granted that we aren't morons.
And by the way, when I said women are whatever yada yada, I think women are very intelligent creatures when they actually make common sense. I'm just saying.
Well, everybody has the capability for intelligence and to be an intelligent person and to say insightful things. But I think that most people don't actualize their ability to do that.
I posted a video on Facebook about this woman who threw a fucking tantrum because her husband, like, I guess she wanted to go to the fucking lake or some bullshit like that, and he was like, well, today's the day that I gotta go change my oil and shit, and she threw a tantrum. Why don't you take me to the fucking lake? What kind of husband are you? And he's recording this whole fucking thing. And then she pulls out her fucking phone and starts texting and put it on Facebook. And he's like, oh, so you're going to put it on Facebook, right? And make me look like the bad guy. All he wants to do is give his truck an oil change. And this lazy bitch, she's like, well, my car needs an oil change too. I'm like, why don't you take it? Why don't you just fucking take it then? You know what? I bet you anything if she would have just asked him, yo, do you mind taking my car to get an oil change? The guy would probably oblige and shit. He probably would have taken it. But no, she just wants to think about herself. Let's go to the fucking lake. Let's have a picnic. Let's have a sandwich or some shit with my friends, and we can drink wine and we can be sluts together.
Well, think of it this way. How often do you think, compared to the average man, that the average woman ever has to subordinate her own desires to do something that he wants to do? Ooh. You never hear, at least I never hear about women saying that, oh, I can't go out drinking with you guys tonight because my husband wants to do something. I always hear the other way around. It's always, I can't go out tonight, my wife/girlfriend wants to do something, we had a date, blah, blah, blah. I've never ever, and maybe it's because I'm not friends with a lot of women. I'm friends with a significant amount of women, but I've never had a woman tell me that she couldn't do something that we had planned to do beforehand because her husband wouldn't let her do it.
Because a woman who was very independent, not very independent, but a woman who loves herself. Here's the thing, loves herself and cares for her. She's going to do whatever she wants. I'm not saying don't be a good girlfriend and hang out with your boyfriend, or a good wife and hang out with your husband. I'm just saying, if you love yourself, you're going to tell him like, yo, this is what I feel. This is what I'm going to do. And that's that. A man won't do that. For some weird reason, in America, women have men by their fucking cajones, their balls, and you're fucked. End of story. That's the way I see it. It's like they say women were like, oh, we want equality. Bull fucking shit. There's no fucking equality in this fucking country and shit. Especially with
Well, women have legal dominion over men in every single way, so that gives you a significant amount of leverage to begin with. Like I said in a previous comment on somebody, I think it was Mark's status actually, is that as soon as you enter into a marriage contract with a woman, or as soon as you have a child with a woman, the state has put a gun in her hand and has put it against your head, whether or not either of you are aware of it.
Yes.
And whenever she becomes aware of it, and she becomes intimately aware of the fact that she has you by the nuts, then that's when shit starts getting toxic. Like, the relationship literally will devolve into a shitfest. And you see it all the time, and then, like, that's the reason why you have the men who fucking, go to work every day and all they do is bitch about their wives, and they're miserable human beings, but they're doing it because they have to, and because I imagine that they love their children. If they have children, they're doing it for their kids anymore. It's not about the wife anymore. They don't give a shit about her.
Yes, let me tell you something. It pisses me off when men, you're growing up with friends around you and all this shit, and you know what they like. You know what they like to do, what their hobbies are. I mean, fuck. I grew up with this guy who was a great artist. Great artist. He would, I mean, and by artist, I mean that loosely because he used to be a tagger. But he used to do such fucking beautiful murals on the fucking wall and shit. Just beautiful. And then he got married and everything went to shit. He wasn't drawing anymore. He wasn't going out with the guys anymore, even for 30 minutes. He stopped playing video games. He stopped watching his favorite TV show. He stopped skating. He stopped, everything that he loved to do, it stopped because he didn't even have kids. He just stopped because the woman didn't have any hobbies, was bored. Why don't you pay attention to me? Why don't you shut the fuck up and get a hobby? Fucking go cook or sew or whatever the fuck women do. I don't know what the fuck they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, play Zelda for fuck's sakes.
That's a choice of the man.
Agreed.
But obviously it's influenced by, I guess that decision is 50-50 after the half. So it's 75% the man's choice, and at the most 25% the woman's choice, because if you allow them the power to decide, then you relinquish half. You know what I mean?
Let's be real here, though. When you say that, I agree with you for one. The thing it's funny to me is that you and everybody else that I talk to, and I'm not. Let me just say it off for the bat. I'm not trying to make a negative assertion here about you, but whenever a man does anything, whether he chooses to relinquish his own freedom for someone else's comfort, whether he chooses to pursue his own interests at the sake of somebody else's comfort, whatever he chooses to do, it is always immediately acknowledged that was his choice, that was his decision. He is the one who was acting. It was entirely on him. He takes responsibility, right? But as I pointed out earlier when Cesar posted the video with the bitch who was bitching and whining in her car,
yes.
When you say anytime a woman does anything wrong, it's always, well, why did she do this? Well, who influenced her? Why did this woman cut off her husband's dick and put it in the garbage disposal? What did he do to her to make her want to do that?
Right.
It's the man acting upon the woman. The man is doing something to her. There is a man somewhere, whether it's her whether it's her significant other, whether it's her father, whether it's society, the patriarchy, quote unquote, as feminists like to put it, that is forcing her to do something. A woman is never responsible for anything she does, and this is immediately clear when you look at any court case where women do something absolutely horrific and they get like a tiny fraction of the punishment a man would get. Here in, I think it was Jodi Arias who was here in Phoenix actually recently, who stabbed her boyfriend 17 times.
Ooh.
And that if a man had stabbed a woman 17 times to death, he would be on death row.
Oh, definitely.
In Arizona, especially, he would be on death row without a doubt. I don't think that I know she wasn't acquitted. I don't know the intimate details of the case. What I do know, because I read this was it wasn't a long time ago, but it was a while ago, so I don't remember all the details. But when I read the verdict, I was immediately struck at how easily she got off. I think she got like 20 years or some shit, maybe. I don't even think she got life imprisonment. If she got that, I can actually Google it right now.
It just pisses me off when a guy is just trying to be himself. It's funny, you meet him and the girl's like, oh, he's cute. I like what he does. I like his hobbies. I like that he does this. I like he does that. And then I know it's like, hey, that haircut you got, yeah, it's kind of a little weird. So you change that hair, and it's like, oh, that Pokemon shirt, that shit's got to go. And then you have a Metallica shirt.
That's when you cut her off.
No, yeah. So now you got like a cut, like a nice little shirt or whatever, and then she is like, "Well, you're not the same person anymore. You've changed, bitch. Are you fucking kidding me? Cause you're men. Please don't change for these women. Please do not fucking. And by the way, my voice is a little messed up. That's why you hear me sounding like I fucking swallowed whatever. Don't. I'm gonna
You
stop.
swallowed your fucking pride, dude. 'Cause the bitch changed you.
Interesting fact here. I just looked it up, and they have still not come to an agreement on her. They have not convicted her yet of anything.
Of course not. She's gonna get off scotch free.
Well,
What the
they've
fuck are you talking
convicted
about?
her, but they have not sentenced her to any specific sentence. She's convicted of first-degree murder.
Which,
But it's literally there's like a mistrial. There was a declared mistrial, and they're in the penalty phase right now, trying to figure out what her punishment should be. She's made multiple appeals, and they have not yet decided about whether or not this bitch should go to jail.
but you're right though. You know what? If a man rapes a woman, all hell's gonna break loose. But if a woman rapes a man, it's like, huh, lucky motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not. Guys get fucking abused like that too, and it fucking hurts. I'm not saying I got raped by a woman. I'm just saying, no. Put yourself in those shoes.
A lot more recent and a lot less biased statistics have come out recently that suggest that domestic violence is reciprocal and both men and women committed in equal degrees. The difference is that in another sense, there's many kinds of domestic abuse, but I'm talking specifically about the kind where physical blows are exchanged. The difference is that men are aware of there's a clause in the law in most laws in most states, and I believe it might, and it's not federal law, it's definitely not federal law, but there is a clause in most domestic, I don't know the word, but domestic law that will say, for instance, it's called basically predominant aggressor laws, which is whoever's able to do the most damage to another person is the person who is the most dangerous in a situation in a domestic dispute. And this is not specifically between men and women. It's just in general, like say if you live with your dad, right, and your dad's this like 250-pound bodybuilder, and you're some 5'4", 110-pound soaking wet scrawny nerd, and you call the cops on him because he's acting aggressively and he's drunk, then they're going to take him away even if you were the one who antagonized him and hit him first, right? But most commonly, this is obviously applied to domestic disputes between couples. So when a woman hits a man and he calls the cops, he is the one who is taken away by the police and processed.
Of course.
Obviously, both parties give their statements, and he's not like he's going to prison for doing that, but he is the one who is taken away in cuffs in the cop car and goes downtown for the night. So knowing this, or perhaps even not knowing it, and maybe having previous experience with it, a man is not going to call the cops on his wife. And it's also the case that, say, like I said, you're a 6 foot tall, 250 pound pure muscle, bodybuilder dude, and your wife is like this 5'4" little Asian lady, and she's hitting you with a fucking frying pan, and you call the cops. You're like, don't you kind of, at least to me, my intuition would be like, you'd be afraid to call the cops because why would anybody believe that you were capable of being hurt by her? You know what I mean?
It just doesn't. I mean, does that make any fucking sense to you? Come on.
I mean,
fuck out of here with that shit.
There's a concept that I've been writing on recently. There's a difference between you should not confuse truth with validity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you keep writing all this shit. You don't give me any fucking titles, motherfucker.
I gave you titles?
Yeah, like give me a title to a book or something. What the fuck?
Oh, I don't know any. I'm not good with titles. It's a subject that I was writing on today. Like I was writing on it today before we started the podcast because it was a particular interest to me. But it's like I said, you shouldn't confuse truth with validity because you can create a valid idea, a completely valid idea that you're completely right in thinking, but it's wrong. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And this was actually what I said. I sort of touched on this last night when we were talking about what was it, the music with the rap group there was one rap group you said who wrote violent music about murdering people, and there was another dude who made a song about date rape, right?
Bone Thugs and Harmony and Rick Ross, yes.
Okay.
Act like you don't know Bone Thugs, you son of a bitch.
It's not that I don't know who they are. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to say what I didn't know for certain. I didn't retain the names.
I got a story for you, Mark. After this guy finishes.
I didn't retain the names.
I understand.
No, listen. Zara was trying to join a btnhboard.com, which is a Bone Thugs and Harmony website, and he's like, "Quick, let me know who's the Bone who came out in Riding Dirty or something." And I'm like, "Tell him it's Wishbone," and he put it in there, and they fucking locked him out. That shit was crazy.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and he got
Dude,
pissed.
I love squishy bones.
Zara has not forgiven me for that.
I
No.
don't blame him.
I'm never
Dude,
gonna.
everyone
You deceived
knows.
me. I had never lied to you before. I had never deceived you. I never wronged you, and you fucking tricked me.
Yeah, I did. That's
You
fucking
tricky motherfucker.
You're a great friend. You know that, Zara?
Dude,
I know.
it was.
I'm a great
It
friend.
was fucking funny bone, dude.
Fuck that guy.
Silly bone.
Silly bone.
No, but anyway,
Yes, women, of course. But
no, let's not.
I wanna point out that we're not misogynists at all.
we are the ones
These
that
are
want
just these are just observations, and we're kind of talking shit. So if anyone gets offended by this, go fuck yourself.
Hell, you know what? If any woman that's
These are
listening,
observations, though.
if
I'm
any
just saying.
if any woman that's listening right now wants to get on next week and like just talk about it, fuck it, why not? What the fuck?
Please, I want people on here to I'm down for having guests. We can have 10 fucking people on here. I don't care.
Let's
I want
not.
other people on here. Well, obviously,
The thing I
10's
want
too
people
much.
to think about before they get too hasty and because obviously the stuff that we're saying is stuff that is easily perceived by others as hostile towards women. And I just want people to think for a second about all the things you see and hear on a daily basis that are very, very critical of men, that are very, very critical of the things that men do, and they're very, very critical about simple male biology. Like it's not a stretch to say that there are people out there who can go on air and say that men are biologically messed up and that they need to be fixed. And people do not boo this. They do not sound. It doesn't sound at all. I mean, when I hear it, it sounds to me like fucking, some shit from Hitler. And I know that was a really silly thing to bring up just because it goes very, very far. But it sounds really it sounds very, very fucking reminiscent of the kind of, like, eugenic, racial cleansing kind of shit that people will say that, these people are biologically wrong. They're just biologically, they're evil, they're prone to violence, they're prone to hatred, they are stupid, they are animalistic, they are beasts, and we need to fix them. And literally, the whole the gender theory that has been going on in academia for the past 10 years has basically been, the question is, how do we fix men? And I think that is an extremely fucking fucked up way to look at gender relations. So when I am critical of women, and when I say things that are critical of female nature and that are critical of females as a demographic and as a group, the immediate reaction from everybody in the room is to look at me like I just, said that Hitler did nothing wrong. But I don't hate women inherently. I hate individual people who do individually wrong things.
That's the funny thing though, is that us as men, we just want to it's not that we want to protect women, but we care for them. If we see a woman who treats us okay, we're gonna do the same thing back. Something obviously happens, and I hate you, nigga, and I hate you too, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It just happens. But at the end of the day, I think women really don't get that we're not that bad, and we're not all dogs, and not all of us want to fuck every fucking thing that walks. We're not
I
like
saw
that.
a dog walking the other day.
I disagree with you on one count, though. I think that I don't even necessarily, maybe I don't disagree with you, maybe you don't disagree with me, is what I'm going to say, but,
Okay.
maybe, when you say that men don't want to protect women, I don't think that's true. I think that they do. I think that that's the basis for a lot of laws that are going into place now, or necessarily not into place, but have been modified now, that extend female provision and extend female safety at the expense of male freedom.
Okay.
And I think that was the reason for shit like, women and children first.
But the thing is, we should be protecting everyone.
People say that, but that is not actually something that actually happens.
No.
I've heard that. I heard that on what was it? It was it was one of Bill Maher's really, really old shows or whatever. Mm-hmm. There was two women on there and two men, and one of the women was she was a gender studies expert, and she was writing about how boys are getting spit up and shoot out by the school system because they're basically being pumped full of drugs by feminist teachers who basically hate them for being little boys, for acting like little boys should behave. And then the 100%. Subject invariably became about gender relations as men and women, and like how these boys who were being taught that they're evil as children grow up into men who were psychologically damaged. And the woman who was saying all this basically said, we need to stop the whole protect women and children thing. We need to start thinking maybe we need to worry about protecting men too. And then this other lady basically just says, I think we should all protect each other. What's the point of this? And like at this point, it's like you're advocating a middle position. You're advocating a centrist position in a situation in which you already have everything you need. There is no negotiating and saying something to the akin of live and let live is not going to work when you have all of the provision and no one else does. It's like saying when you have, say for instance, I'm trying to think of like just an abstract example. Okay, so you have this $100 pile of $100 bills in a room, right?
I'm taking it all, motherfucker.
And you and this other person fight over it, but this other person gets more than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he has $80, you have $20, and then the person who organized this whole thing says, okay, now that you guys are in this position, you both have your currency with which to bargain. I want you to both come up with something that I think is fair. And the person with $80 says, well, I think that we should just live and let live. I think we should agree to disagree. Maybe you think you deserve more money, and I think I deserve more of your money, but I think that we should just agree to disagree, and we should just walk away with what we have. Intuitively, when you put it that way, people are obligated to say, wait a minute, that isn't fair. The dude has $80 and the other has $20. But when we do it with shit like, and you can see this with religious people, like especially on the subject of gay rights, right? When people talk about gay marriage and about how we should just agree to disagree, it seems like a losing proposition any way you look for it for the side that does not have marital rights, does not have hospital visitation, does not have the same access to, say, like family benefits or the same access to adopting children. To say that we should just agree to disagree at that point seems a little imbalanced to me. That's what I glean from it, but you're free to disagree.
I'm gonna agree with every fucking thing you just said.
I'm gonna disagree with everything you say.
Wow.
Because I hate them. No. Yeah, I agree with that. The person on top is gonna be like, "Yo, dude, let's just chill out. Let's just chill out. And
right. Because
everything's cool."
No
because the person
is required on their part.
Exactly.
So obviously, the person with more power decides exactly what's gonna happen.
Well, I would say that's pretty common sense.
Unless they are swayed by either some sort of coercive apparatus, or unless they are swayed by appeals
that
to
pussy.
My nigga. I'm saying that shit will fuck your fucking life up.
I think.
By the way, hold on. Before we even continue, some people got offended. Some people got offended because I said last week that I was hoping. I'm not hoping. I still am. I'm telling you. You know what? I hope my dad's still pounding that shit. I'm hoping my dad's still pounding my mama. And it's not just 2 or 3 people. More than that. You know what? I'm sorry that I think of my mother as a human being who has fucking needs and needs to orgasm. You know what? Fuck it. My mom's a fucking woman. She got to get what she got to get. If my dad's not hitting it, all right, it's not happening. It is what it is. But you know what? If my mom was going to pound town with my dad, fuck it. Put it down, motherfucker.
I think this was the first time I ever spoke to you on Skype. You said something along the lines of, I hope my dad gets a blowjob every day because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And I think he deserves a blowjob. I hope my mom is the greatest cocksucker on earth.
Yes. I love my dad. And I hope my mom...
want your child to think that about you, though?
Of course. Of fucking course. You know what? If I have a kid and shit, and like I'm just like, fuck it. I'm putting it down. Just putting it down like a motherfucker. And then the next morning, I wake up. My wife's making us breakfast and shit. And my son, he comes up to me and like, yo, Dad.
Why are you making breakfast?
No, motherfucker. If it's so good, why ain't you doing it, bitch? No. And no, he'd be like, yo, Dad, I heard that shit last night. He goes, I'm sorry. No, it's cool, High five. It is what it is. You gotta go to Pound Town every once in a while. And, mama needs what she gotta get. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do.
I agree with you. I hope your mom.
Now, if it was my daughter,
I hope your dad is also having a good time.
My dad is an awesome guy. I hope my mom's.
Your mom sucks like a Hoover and your dad has a 10-inch dick.
I hope. Yes. I hope my mom can like take off her teeth or something and she just gums her. Just gums the fuck out of him. Just fuck it. Why not?
What about the other way around?
Oh wait, I don't know.
Um, no,
I hope my dad is an eating machine. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
oh man,
All I
yeah,
can do,
stocks dropping,
all I
stocks dropping.
all I can do is hope. I hope one day my mom just says, "Hey, I started twerking for your dad." It's like, "Fuck it, mom. You got to do what you got to do." I've been watching 2 Chain videos and I know how to do
I,
some of that stuff.
I'm going to make the executive decision. I hope your mom never twerks,
What?
but I hope your dad appreciates the beauty that she has in her heart. I hope
I
that.
hope that your mom learns to twerk, but she never does it outside of the bedroom.
Yes, I told my sister this. I saw
Oh, the
her.
dick.
I saw her this weekend, and I actually had to pick her up when we took a road trip. And I was telling her, like, Cesar, you're disgusting. How dare you think of my mom? I'm like, listen, I'm not thinking of my mom that way. I'm just saying, my mom's a human being. She has to get what she has to get. So is my dad. I feel bad if my dad's not getting what he's got to get. He's a hardworking man, and he's doing that's fucked up. I hope my
Why would
mom.
you not want that? Why
Yeah,
would that upset you?
I
Like,
hope. I hope
respect.
again. If I upset you last week, I'm just explaining myself because I think you're being selfish. You're
Yo,
getting the
listen.
fucking.
You don't need to explain yourself. These fucking assholes. Anyone who gets upset that you hope your parents are still in a sexually charged, loving relationship. Fuck those people.
Okay, fuck it.
Listen.
I hope my mom can
I hope.
stick my dad's dick in her throat with
Oh,
balls too, and she licks like the gooch part too. Fuck it.
listen. I. I hope they're having a good time.
And she hums him like just makes noises and shit.
Like an angry cat.
Yes, yes.
So, anyways, Zara is a.
We got a fucking.
Just needs to. This has to change. Listen, you got mad at me last week talking about my dad coming in shit. I don't know. So as a philosopher.
Do you think your mom should be having you?
Yeah, right. Yeah. What do you think coming is? No. So like obviously this is kind of a broad as fuck, debatable sort of thing. What do you think constitutes as consciousness? Because the way, the way people look at it now is, you fucking think you're conscious. You know, you drive a car, you gotta be conscious. But like when you look at other species and other like organisms and shit, they're obviously to some degree conscious, whether or not individually they are.
What if we're
As a
what if we're all like this is just a fucking dream, right? And the real
yo, it's a fucking we're just a simulation. That could be the
no. What if like anything that lives in the ocean is like the real true smart organisms or animals or whatever, the fucking dolphins are like the supreme cocksuckers in this world and shit, and we're just like giving toys to play with, like, here's this iPhone and this car and this fucking microwave, cook a hot pocket, cocksucker, you know what I'm saying? And and then like the people, the things that live in the ocean are actually like the smart motherfuckers, you know, it's like
Like Cthulhu's under there and shit. No.
yeah.
To answer your question in a serious way, I guess. Well, not so serious because I'm not always serious, but when you say consciousness, this is what my mind is immediately drawn to is the individual experience that an individual person or organism has. Because when people conceive of consciousness, they try to conceptualize it as some sort of like some sort of scientific framework, but you can't do that because. Okay. And to preface this,
why can't you do that?
I believe I'm a scientific. I shouldn't say I'm a scientific reductionist, but I do believe that every conscious experience we have is a result of some sort of chemical reaction in our brains. So I don't believe that there's some there's like some mind body dichotomy. I don't believe that, but when you conceive of a conscious experience, the only conscious experience you can ever conceive of is your own. You have no idea what it's like to be me. You don't have any idea what it's like to be Cesar. You have no idea what it's like to be your dog. You have no idea what it's like to be Cesar's mom while she's getting pounded in the ass by his dad. So you have absolutely no idea whatsoever what my consciousness is. You simply don't. You haven't the slightest clue. You know only what it means to be like you, and I know only what it means to be like me.
Is it like a perception type of deal where
So, go ahead.
everybody has like this different perception of life? Is that what you
Right.
right?
Right. And
Okay,
like,
but
for
if you're
instance,
gonna, I'm sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt you, but if you think if that's like okay, every individual person has their own perception of things. What about which we can basically do to a fucking caveman degree? We can perceive what someone else sees and what they think through all sorts of different things, imaging and brain scans and shit like that. So does that undermine the
I think that
individual?
I think that's neither here nor there really, because what you're talking about, right? You're saying that in the future, like perhaps even now, there's primitive technology that enables you to get a glimpse of what someone's conscious experience is, right?
Mhm.
Maybe someday there will be a device that you can attach yourself to. Like maybe you put a bunch of electrodes on your fucking head, and then you put electrodes on fucking Cesar's head, and you're able to like experience life as Cesar, right? Some
Yes.
sort of sci-fi shit. I think that if and when we get to that point, that your question becomes a lot easier to answer. To give a very specific answer, like, well, consciousness is simply, because once you have multiple conscious experiences in your mind, like you can imagine being different things correctly, accurately, not just as people perceive, like, oh, I'm a dog, I can only see in black and white, right? No. So once you are able to conceptualize somebody else's consciousness, then you can develop a more objective idea of what it is. Because when you try to explain consciousness scientifically, what you're saying is that you want an objective account of consciousness, which means that an objective basically means from third person perspective. It means that you want if I view anything, no matter what it is, whether it's somebody's consciousness or somebody's arm, from a million perspectives. Say I interview a million people and say, what does his arm look like? Is it long? Is it short? Is it fat? Or his finger stubby? And then I get all those people, and then you take everything that everybody says, and you put the most common answered things together, right? Because obviously, when you say long, it can be nebulous. It could be 12 inches. It could be 15 inches. You know what that means when someone says his arm is 12 inches, and then you have like every other person says his arm is 12 inches, and you can all agree his arm is 12 inches, right? That's a scientific way of looking at the world.
Right, but wouldn't it be that once you're in, not in exactly, but once you're funneling their understanding into yours, you understand what their my arm's this long. Like you just I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too silly into it. I don't know.
No.
Well, what I think what you're trying to say is that you're filtering one subjective experience through your own subjective experience. So it's basically like it's two layers of subjective experiences, correct? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I suppose so, because I mean then it would give you an average of the
Right. Because it's actually funny that you bring this subject up, because I wrote a fucking
Let me guess.
a 20-page paper on this
Let me
subject.
guess. You're
last
writing a
semester.
fucking book about it. Fuck you.
Okay,
Please do that.
I will for sure.
And fucking give me a title to it. What the fuck?
Continue. Yeah, boners and butts.
I had a fucking. I wrote. Well, not. I didn't write anything, but I had a fucking like. At one point, I literally like when I write. Okay, when I write shit, right? I don't really I don't think of a title until the end. So like, I'll just put like boners and butts on the fucking thing, and I literally turned in a rough draft once that was like titty sprinkles for my fucking. And my fucking professor commented on it. He's like, I think you may want to revise the title, and I was like, fuck.
By the way, this is the best philosopher we could find in the allotted time that we could find. I mean,
Yeah, and the fucking
Pretty much
greatest.
chicken nugget.
And the fucking greatest that he immediately knows in his like immediate circle of friends, which doesn't mean much.
No, it does. Let me tell you something.
My rice with.
Let me tell you
I've got a
something.
credit card.
Let me
This
tell you
is
something.
perfect.
The reason when I told you, I said I'm not gonna use your last name when I put you on the when we put you on Facebook and all that shit, to letting people know who's gonna come. Why? Because I had a coworker come and was like, "Oh, so who is this philosopher?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's Brock, yada yada yada," and it's like, "Oh, okay, let me look him up, motherfucker. Just because you're a philosopher doesn't mean you're fucking famous. You know what I'm saying? Comprehend, people.
Dude, I have.
I'm a singer.
I'm-
Let me look
Yeah,
you up,
right?
asshole.
I have at least 3 friends who are philosophers. Kyle Chapano is one of them.
Nice.
Seth Burke is another one of them, and Jared. Actually, all of them are right here, right now. So
Aren't we supposed to go on their show later? Like later on during the month or some shit like that. We're supposed to go on their podcast or something.
I completely. I want to get Kyle on here.
You're
I want to
supposed
get Seth and Jared also on here. So
you're supposed to set that shit up, brother. What the fuck?
So listen, everyone, this is a quick intermission. If you're feeling crazy, my friend Kyle and Jared have a podcast. My friends, they're not one person because they're not in each other's consciousness right now. They have a podcast called Bunktastic. You can find it on iTunes or you can find it on YouTube.
Why is it called Bunktastic?
Dude, because it's bunktastic, dude.
Why,
You're
though?
gonna go on there and you're gonna be like, dude, this is fucking bunk.
No, it's supposed to be like Drotastic. Isn't that the best you can find? Or Pineapple Crash-tastic? Or
Yo, boner. I'm just saying. Listen, you go on there.
I've had some bunk in my life, and let me tell you, not cool. Your head starts to hurt. You
Listen,
can't get a
if you
boner.
If you follow them, you'll understand.
You can't get
So
a
I'm
hard
just
on. Next thing you know, she's leaving. She's like, fuck you. You can't get a hard on. I'm out of here. You start jacking off to a fucking infomercial with Tony Little on it with with one of those.
Who the fuck is Tony Little?
That fucking asshole with the fucking exercise machine and shit.
Oh, with the gazelle or
The
something.
gazelle, yes,
He's
the
got
gazelle.
fucking shitty ponytail. He's
Yeah.
real buff, but he looks like probably steroids or he's putting like oil in his muscles.
Let me tell you
So
something.
they hurt real bad.
See, there's motherfuckers using steroids or he's injecting himself with like elephant semen or something. I don't know what the fuck, but this guy is not working out for that body. I'm just saying. No
That
homo.
guy is an asshole. Don't buy his
I hate that
products.
asshole.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Tony Little. And
Tony.
I think his name's Tony Little.
Tony.
Well, that's what my aunt told me. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I have a
Talk
coworker.
about
I wanted to ask y'all this. I have a coworker who has she has her own desk, obviously, in her own office, and she has her own picture in her desk. Like,
That's hilarious.
that's fucking funny, right? Like, instead of like your family and your friends, no,
Dude,
fuck you. I have my own face. Not even like the body, it's just the face and shit.
I think I'm gonna do that. Actually, my friend Kyle made me a picture of me puking into another cat's mouth. Another cat. Like I'm also a cat.
Wait a minute.
What the fuck?
That is weird.
It sounds weird, and saying it makes me feel weird. But it's hilarious.
Is this what you
and,
Massachusetts
Massholes. They're called massholes.
Oh,
That's the official thing.
that makes
Official
sense.
But something I don't remember what I was talking about.
I don't know. A douchebag's a douchebag all over the fucking country. You don't have to fucking cross state borders to fucking find a different type of douche. You're all douchebags.
This is true. Put that out there. Anyways, what the fuck were we talking about before I?
Oh yeah, the face and I don't know.
Something about consciousness, and then something about other philosophers, and then something about a cat getting puked into a cat's mouth or something. Yeah.
Yeah, this got fucking super derailed. Were we talking about Chingy or something?
Chingy, that was last week's episode.
Yeah,
Actually.
but he just fucked it.
You don't remember Chingy?
Who?
He doesn't remember Chingy.
No one should.
Really?
We were talking about something.
Weren't we talking about women? Yo, what if they
did.
legalize prostitution?
That'd be fucking awesome because then look at like I think it's just Reno or Nevada in general. All those people. Do you know who
The Bunny
Louis
Ranch.
Theroux-
They got the Bunny
It's
Ranch.
just Las Vegas. Do
Yeah.
either of you know who Louis Theroux is?
Nope.
Louis Theroux.
Is he your
All right.
friend?
No, I wish. He's a he does documentaries for BBC, and he does a ton of them. But one of the ones that he did was to do like a I don't know how long it lasted. He was in there in like a brothel down in Vegas for like a week or something like that, and I mean if you watch it, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's whatever. If you're not interested, you're not interested. But you don't give a shit about that.
We're listening, asshole. What the fuck?
Wait, what?
We're listening to you. What are you trying to say?
Okay, listen. Yo, listen, I'm trying to tell you. No, it's not the way people think it is. It's not like, oh, you just walk in and you're just like, yo, I'm gonna pick that chick. I'm just a fucker. It's really regulated, and they have like rules, and
Well, that's how
there's
it.
like
If it was legalized, that's how it should be. You know, you
no,
go in.
exactly, and
You.
that's the only reason it's like that is because it's legal. So if you take the way it's set up in the place that it is legal, you understand that it's just a fucking good idea because like it gets taxed. The government makes money off it. The people get tested every month or
Yes.
something to that effect.
Yes.
It's safe.
I think that not only should the people who work at the brothels or whatever you want to call these sex shops be tested, but so should the customers. For example, excuse me. For example,
I agree with that 100%.
let's say you go in. You have to
You
make
can't
an.
drive without a license, so why should we fuck without a fucking dick license?
Wait a minute. You're getting way too ahead of me right now. Like I think before you even go, like a week in advance, you gotta plan this fuck. Like you know what I'm saying? Like literally, you gotta plan this fuck. You go in, all right, bitch. Which bitch do you want? I'm like, well, I'm feeling Chinese next Wednesday, so you know what I'm saying. You gotta fucking scroll through the little catalog or whatever, and then they get tested for STDs. And fine, you pick the Chinese bitch with the big titties and the nice ass. She looked kind of like a man, but that's kind of what you were looking for, you know? Because she reminds me of your uncle fucking Thomas or whatever the fuck. I don't give
All
a
I
shit.
want is kissing. I just want a kiss on the mouth.
What?
Watch that documentary.
Okay,
Go on.
I will. So, anyways, you pick this bitch, and then you get tested and shit, and like, you know, you gotta trust them. Like, yo, you're not fucking anybody for the next week or whatever, and they should like penalize you. Like, if you fuck something before you fuck this bitch, and we find out that you gave this person this, then you know you're going to jail or something for like a year or 2 or 3, even for herpes. You don't fuck around with this shit. This is gotta be fucking regulated and taxed like a motherfucker. You see Colorado and shit, they're fucking taxing it up the fucking wazoo. But you know what? People will fucking pay it. Wherever the fuck you two are, I think one of you is in Arizona, one of you. I'm in Texas. If you fucking sell me a joint for fucking $50, I'll pay that shit. If it's legalized, hell fucking yeah. Why the fuck not? It's the same shit as weed. It's the same shit. You know what? Listen, the only reason why we're even fucking drinking alcohol and shit is because they gotta give us something to fucking keep us stupid so that we don't have to fucking see all that bullshit.
The biggest problem that comes up when people discuss legalizing weed for the tax money is that since you don't necessarily have to have like a business set up, like an overhead or anything to actually make, well, you kind of do have an overhead to make weed, but to grow weed, you don't have to file any fucking paperwork and shit, or get a receipt, or do electronic transactions for it necessarily.
Correct.
You can simply grow weed in your, perhaps if you have a good climate for it, you can grow weed in your backyard,
Right.
and then sell it to your friends, make money under the table, don't report a thing. People often, I think that there's two sides to that stance. People will say either that that's the reason why we shouldn't, or why they won't legalize weed. But I think that, given how aggressive the IRS is in auditing people who manage to spend more money or accumulate vast amounts of assets without any visible income. Like if you just live in your fucking apartment and have tons of fucking money, and you don't invest it in a bank or anything, and you just keep it in cash floating around your apartment and drop it on shit, then I don't think that the IRS is going to notice unless you buy a really nice car. But if you're a fucking poor motherfucker who lives in the sticks and you just decide to fucking one day buy a Lamborghini and the IRS notices this, they're going to be like, well, where the fuck did this motherfucker get this kind of money? We wanted on that.
Right.
And people, people are, you think that, that they're bad about possession of illegal substances, they will get on your ass twice as hard about, income tax evasion. And all of us, to a certain extent, evade taxes because anytime money changes hands legally, you're supposed to pay taxes.
Did you hear about that
shit? If you pick up a Mexican at fucking Home Depot and bring him over to pay him $40 to clean your fucking gutters or whatever, you're supposed to give the government a piece of that. You don't, but you're supposed to. They just don't. They can't pick it up or care because nobody has the fucking resources to be like.
It costs them more money to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody has the resources or the need to do that. Once it gets to a big enough scale, though, to the extent that you're mass producing marijuana and selling it, then if you're not reporting income, they're going to notice it, and you're going to get your ass nailed to the wall.
But that should happen regardless. Obviously, it doesn't because look at our fucking economy. But I mean, that shit should be super scrutinized. And I agree with Pam. I think what did Colorado do? 20% or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, yeah. Once it gets legalized, it's going to cost a fuck of a lot more than it does now. Because you can get a fucking
For sure.
pound of weed for $50. It might suck. You have no idea what it is, and there's probably going to be a fucking brick in the middle. But there's like pebbles and shit. It's like this. It's like most of this is the soil, but you're gonna pay a fuck ton more. But you're gonna know what you're getting,
Jared,
and you're gonna know it's safe.
listen.
I mean, even California is relatively pretty good about that. But I mean, obviously, it's still. How long has it been legal there?
Listen.
5 years, if that. Not even 2 years.
I think it's only medical there, though. I don't think that there's any.
No,
Okay, medical.
No.
I mean, if we're gonna get super technical,
Are you gonna say
it's not legal there? Medical, you can go there and be like, my stomach hurts.
Are you saying
I
Colorado?
need-"
Are you guys talking
I mean,
about
I'm not saying they're
Colorado?
gonna stop you by any means. I know a guy who literally who said he had fucking back pain from working out and he got a fucking medical weed card. But I think that because I mean, there are people there now. Like people who live. I know a guy, one of my friends who lives in Santa Barbara, who makes $60,000 a year. He has like 2 sheds in his backyard that he has hydroponics in, and because the climate is good.
Allegedly, this isn't true.
Allegedly, this is
A story I wrote down.
Somebody told me about this.
No, I know the guy.
No, you don't.
You're
Yes,
gonna
I do.
get shot in the face.
I'm not gonna get shot.
This
I
is
think,
not your
actually,
uncle.
I might get shot, but not because of this. This is a podcast on the internet.
Continue, sir.
I'm enough of a jerk in real life to get shot in the face on my own merit, so I don't need you fucking making accusations.
We should know.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Continue, sir. I'm sorry.
Continue on. You know.
No, I'm fucking done. I'm done.
He just leaves. Oh well. Okay,
Listen.
Later, fags.
No, wow.
Guys,
No,
it up.
listen. I know I said I went on a rant a little while ago and I said it's the same shit, weed and prostitution. Obviously, nobody's died from fucking weed, and a bunch of people have died from prostitution because of AIDS and all this fucking bullshit. Maybe I went on a tangent. Look, listen. All I'm saying is that it should be legalized. Hemp is a wonderful thing. I mean, there's this thing called Weed Wars. Have you seen this guy? Have you guys seen it on Netflix and shit? This little kid has seizures cured by THC. Well, not the THC, but just like the whatever cannabis is comprised of, and it's like an oil, and you just kind of give it to him, and his seizures stopped automatically. It's beautiful. The government released a fucking report earlier, some shit saying that yes, it helps a bunch of cancers. Why don't you just fucking release it, bro? Prostitution, oldest profession ever. Why the fuck not? If I was gonna say if 2 guys want to fuck, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. If 2 guys just want to fuck and exchange money for it, then whose business is it? It's none of our business. Let them fucking do whatever the fuck they want to do. We supposedly live in
the core issue here, though, is that people really don't want to take responsibility for their own people don't want to take responsibility for their own actions first and foremost, and secondly, they don't want to have to take responsibility for someone else's actions, right?
Right.
When you give the state, like for instance, and I'm not trying to make this about Obamacare or anything, but when you have a system like Obamacare, perhaps if you live in the United Kingdom and you have NHS, your taxpayer dollars are going towards paying for people to do something, right? You're going for them to pay for their medical costs, regardless of whether or not they're a kindly old lady who didn't do anything wrong a day of her life and just happened to come down with cancer because fuck you are genetically cursed to have cancer.
Or she had a lot of McDonald's.
And then there's the guy who smokes 20 packs a day and gets lung cancer. No matter what happens, they are still footing the bill for it. The taxpayer is still footing the bill for it.
Right.
So when people make the argument that I don't want to legalize weed or I don't want to legalize prostitution because I do not want to have my tax dollars pay for the sins of others, I think that there's a good point to be made there, but at the same time, I think that the core of it is that people don't want to have personal responsibility. Not even I'm not saying necessarily for other people's sake. They don't want to have personal responsibility in their own way. They don't want to. To an extent, they're in it for themselves. They don't want to have to be like, well, I fucked this hooker and now I got AIDS because I am a dumbass and didn't use a condom.
Not only that, man, but these are
I'm going to blame legal prostitution for this. I'm not going to blame my bad decision making. I'm going to say prostitution is what gave me AIDS. And I know that that's kind of that seems like a ridiculous thing to say because it
No,
is, but people have done
it's
this
not.
in other ways, in
It,
other situations with other issues. Like say, the gun control issue is one that people always like to bring up, and they like to bring up all these people who misuse their privilege to own firearms to do harm to others. And people like to bring up the notion that, because crazy people have misused their privileges, that other people shouldn't be allowed to have the same chance to reasonably use their privileges. And it's the same argument that gets made when like the recent, like the feminists like to always tote rape statistics, or that, men are rapists. You're blaming an entire gender for the actions of a very small sect of your gender. Very few men are rapists. Very, very, very few men are rapists. Close to
unless you're in jail.
Less than 3% of, well, I don't know about that even though.
I'm just being an asshole.
Less than 3% of men are rapists, and yet feminism preaches to men as a gender, as a whole group, right? That rape is a gendered issue, that it is a male issue, and men need to fix it. Men need to fix rapists. They need to stop raping when most men don't rape. Most men think rape is abhorrent. And so when you bring this psychology into other situations, you can sort of glean why people don't want these things to be legal, even though in your mind, like you hear it, and you're like, this makes so much sense. Why are we not legalizing this shit? That's why.
I agree with you 100%, and I would like to elaborate, I guess, or put it into a different context.
Add your 2 cents, my brother.
I'm going to add 6 cents, and 20 years ago, you're going to buy a piece of candy. Anyways, so you said, I don't want to pay taxes to go to people smoking weed.
I didn't
Something
say
to that
that, but
effect?
go ahead. It's not my personal belief. I'm not espousing. Go ahead.
No, but that's what you said, right?
No.
That's sort of the mentality that people have.
I think what he said was, I don't want to put my tax dollars in something that I don't believe in, or something like that.
Okay, but and then that exact same logic, which I agree with you, is sort of the standard mentality of most people. We put money into... We paid our taxes, and this happened, events, and 9/11 happened because we pay taxes? That's the exact same mentality that would have to be applied to the same logic as I don't want to pay taxes because it's going to allow someone to get high.
Do we not blame the government though for, especially given all, like, I don't know, I haven't really looked into like the 9/11 conspiracy theories, and I'm not espousing a conspiracy theory here, but I have heard people express
conspiracy theory.
No, just let me finish.
Okay,
they expressed the idea that the government had information beforehand that something was going to occur, and they chose not to act upon it. They made the conscious decision to not take actions which may have prevented 9/11 from occurring. I'm not saying that they did a good job, but there are people who have said, and I don't know the truth value of this statement, that the government had information relayed to them that could have prevented 9/11, and they chose not to act upon it.
Correct.
So people say, they don't say necessarily that the U.S. government was in on 9/11, but they say that the U.S. government has to take responsibility for the events of 9/11. That it's not entirely on the terrorists who committed the act. It is upon the government who we trusted in with our tax dollars and our votes and all of that other shit to protect us from acts of terrorism, and they failed to do that job. So we hold them responsible. Right?
I'm not even putting it to that effect at all. I'm just saying it happened.
Definitely, okay. I don't disagree with that. That's a fact.
But let's go with the official mentality, whatever, is that it happened because they hate us. Why would they hate us? Because we fucked their shit up, right? Can we agree, like, the previous Bush, Iran-Contra, we went over there, we were doing stuff in the Middle East we shouldn't have been doing, I'm sure, way before that. They hate us because of our freedom. I think we can say the only reason that terrorists blew up the towers is because, regardless of what you believe, because they're terrorists, right? So the only reason those people exist is because of our military or our culture, because we pay our taxes to build up the government, which allows our culture to get to the degree that it is, whatever, however you want to elaborate on that idea. But you pay taxes, you let 9/11 happen. In the same, to the same effect, if you're going to say, I don't want to pay my taxes because it might allow someone to smoke weed.
Not that it might allow someone to smoke weed, that it might, that it, perhaps if marijuana has adverse effects, whether or not it does is irrelevant to the point.
Right.
They do not want to be like, and it has been. I mean, I'm not saying that marijuana is evil, but there has been a causal link created between marijuana smoking and lung cancer, and that's simply due to the fact that when you smoke anything, you're inhaling carcinogens into your lungs.
Correct.
Nothing to do with weed specifically.
Air.
But say you don't want your tax dollars to go towards paying for someone else's medical service that they chose, that they will, and I don't disagree with this point. I disagree with the mentality. I disagree with the mentality in a different way, which I'll explain in a second. Mm-hmm. You do not want to pay for someone else's bad decision, right?
I agree.
Like when we have seatbelt laws and we have motorcycle helmet laws, because we do not want to be. Then people call it paternalism. They call it the government basically being the daddy, and
right. Okay.
That's the stupidest thing
the
ever.
Problem, though, the ultimate problem that as I see it, though, is that you pay taxes to the government, right? You don't pay tax. You're not giving this. You're not giving this money that you're paying in tax. You're not mailing it to that marijuana smoker. You're not doing that. You're giving it to a third party that takes its cut, uses the money to fund its bureaucratic apparatus, and then that government, independent of you may vote for them. You may vote for your individual people, but you do not choose what they do specifically. They oftentimes will pass things as a legislative body, right, without the consent of the people. So you have them using your money to draw up laws that may or may not be in the best interest of the people who paid the taxes. It's the taxation without representation arguments, all over again. And I think that while I think that there are holes in that way of thinking, that is, if you are a libertarian, that is the correct way to be a libertarian, right? Not, I want small government because I don't want welfare mammies taking my monies and having welfare because I hate poor people. It's not like, and I know that's a really reductive stereotype, but like there's a validity to the mentality that paying money to the government and then not having a choice in where that money goes. Like, you don't get a choice if you pay taxes into NHS as what's the word, like a British citizen or a UK citizen. You don't get to choose where that money goes. You don't get to choose to save Timmy with heart cancer at age 6. That could go to Timmy, or it could go to Agatha, the fucking woman who has chain smoked since she was 16 and now has lung cancer. Surprise, surprise. You know what I mean? So these people feel like they don't get a choice in where their money goes, and that's what gives them this aversity towards letting risky behaviors be free reign, right? Because then, to some extent, since we are living in a society together and we do assume some level of responsibility for each other as people, when someone does something, it's not just them who's affected; it's everyone, right?
Okay, yeah.
Even if it's to a minimal extent. If I choose to go tomorrow and shoot up a bunch of people, right, and say that Cesar and Mark told me to do this, then people, whether or not that's true, people are going to inquire. They're going to be like, well, what involvement do these people have in this? What did they tell this guy?
Fuck this guy. I don't know this.
Even if it's not rational, they will. They will. It's a fact of life.
I guess you would hope. Yes.
So when people try to act as if they're the rugged individual, ideal American citizen who, I don't understand why people wouldn't just let me do whatever I want. It's my body, my choice, my responsibility. I can do whatever the fuck I want. They're either ignorant, willfully ignorant, or they're purposefully misrepresenting the way that their actions affect other people. If you live in a cabin in the woods all by yourself on your own private island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, then whatever the fuck you want to do is whatever the fuck you want to do, But yes. How many people are in that situation? 0.0001% of the population?
Right.
2. Yeah. That's about right. Yeah.
And you have have to understand that I'm talking as a person who is totally for marijuana legalization and for prostitution legalization. I'm not against these things. I'm simply understanding the opposing view.
Damn, imagine both at the same damn time. Jesus Christ.
It would seem like those would kind of just align. Like once we're gonna get to like 49 states on one, and then like 37 on the other, and then it's just gonna be like do it all, whatever.
But you know what, Mark? I think I kind of grasp what Mark was trying to say, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, there's these people who are saying, I don't want my fucking tax dollars to go to the marijuana and yada yada yada. Motherfucker, your fucking tax money's going to the fucking war and shit, and you don't even know what the fuck they're doing. You're fucking blinded because you're watching the Kardashians fucking suck each other off and shit, and watching the fucking Wheel of Fortune and this other cocksucker Drew Carey with his fat ass and his fucking buzz cut and his fucking ugly ass face looking like fucking Kane from WWE. Fuck you. You don't even know where your fucking money's going. You're fucking complaining, oh, the weed, the weed. You know what? If you fucking smoke that shit, you shut the fuck up and you fucking know what the fuck's really going on, you dumb fuck.
Well,
I think
yeah,
the people
that's
who oppose weed. I think the people who oppose marijuana legalization on the grounds of not being responsible for other people's vices are already very, very intimately aware of what the government is doing with their tax dollars already, and perhaps that is why they don't want such a thing to happen. I think I mean, I'm not saying that every person who opposes marijuana legalization is doing it based upon the things that I'm espousing.
Right.
I think that a lot of people, in fact, simply are, purse-clutching fucking pansies who think that if you legalize marijuana, then all of society will go to pot in 3 minutes or less.
Oh, fuck. You know, I heard this fucking dumb bitch named Nancy Grace on TV and shit. Oh, if you smoke marijuana, you're gonna get lazy and fat. Bitch, what happened to you?
yeah, right.
You're dumb fucking bitch. You're fucking
smoking, right? Yeah.
fucking smoking cheeseburgers, you dumb bitch.
If she smoked weed, she'd be working out.
No,
All right, that's what happened.
You could.
I want to point out. I
She'd
just
be-
want to jump in there and go back to what you were saying. Is
She'd be doing
when you're
bicep
like-
curls and shit.
yeah, the only bicep curl she's doing is putting fucking
That fucking
the
slice of
chips in her
fucking
mouth.
supreme pizza.
Cool Ranch. This is cool.
Well, if you have big enough hands and a big enough fucking handful of chips, then it may work your arm muscles regardless of how many calories you're putting into your mouth. Like it may just be a wash.
A whole bag at once. That's
So
just,
yeah,
that,
like no, you need
that's
more
at
than a
least
whole bag
2
though.
pounds.
'Cause chips are pretty fucking light. Like you need like 5 pounds of chips. You'd have to like crush the chips into a fucking block and just like eat it like a Rice Krispie treat.
I do that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Store.
well, there you fucking go then. That shit would probably be delicious. You should upload a picture of a fucking chip block so that I can see what it looks like.
No, I go into stores and I just crush chips up for the next asshole who's like, I'm gonna buy chips because they're delicious. If you're gonna buy chips, I hope you eat the fucking crumbs.
What's like 20 fucking Hitlers rolled into one person?
Jesus Christ! Thanks, Nancy Grace, you whore.
Well, what we were saying before is like the military, the money that you spend. I'll go as conservative, liberal, whatever. Is 20% of every dollar, so 20 cents that you pay goes to the military. So that would be 20% of that whole. Every dollar that you spend goes to funding all that crazy shit. A small. Let me try and find. Maybe. Okay, Medicaid, Medicare. That's. I guess overall, maybe that's 21%. You could say 21%. It would probably be less than that. Okay, health, maybe. It's a fraction of what you send over to the guns that you pay for, the bullets that you pay for, is people fucking getting healthy, which would entail smoking weed if it was legalized. So it's like, if you're gonna complain about, I don't want to spend 15 cents on every dollar I spend for this dude to smoke weed, but those bullets, I'll give you a lot of money for that. Like, I don't know. I don't understand that whole.
What approval rating does the war really have? Like, have you the approval rating?
Well, it doesn't matter what your approval rating is because they're doing it.
We're discussing what people are approving their government of doing. Though we're saying the government, at least in this situation, this individual person is opposed to the government using their money in a way which they don't agree with.
If we could, it's like, you can opt in. Like, you go on the internet and you put whatever percent into every
Yeah, you choose where your every cent goes.
Okay, so when you die and you're hanging out with baby Jesus and his dad, you're like, yo, I'm paying. This is what I'm doing. In that world, I think it'd be very skewed. I think overall everything would be equal. I would say, war is going to be the 10% of the 10 out of 100. Like you could pick 10 things, war's getting 10. Healthcare is getting 10. Food's getting 10. Education 10, 10. Everything probably get around 10. Whereas now, it's the majority of what your shit's going to is that. So it's like, if people, I'm just going based on the point that you were making, is that if people are upset that their money is going to weed, they should be equally upset that they paid for 9/11. They let that shit happen. They insinuated, or not insinuated, they, what's the word? You enticed it to happen.
Wow.
My question is, how come when I pay taxes, I'm not getting 3-ply toilet paper at my work? What the fuck is that?
You're not?
I'm not.
Oh,
it's
man.
1-ply.
I'm getting that fucking... Dude.
1-ply toilet paper was literally invented by Hitler.
I love taking shits at work.
That guy had a lot of good ideas.
And toilet paper wasn't one of them.
Fuck it. I don't give a shit.
And you fucked the joke up, and now I sound like an asshole.
Well, fuck you, asshole.
That guy sucked.
I gotta go to the...
sucked real bad.
I work at the second floor, and I go to the third floor, so the second floor don't know that I fucked up the toilet. I don't give a fuck.
Listen.
I think that that our disagreement, or at least if I perceive it as disagreement, is that we're conflating a conceptual with the real. When we say that someone disagrees with this theoretical person disagrees with the notion of taxes, just print as a principle, he disagrees with taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that he's correct, because I think that taxes are essential. I don't think that taxes can go away. I think that we will always have taxes, and I disagree on where I disagree where our tax money goes on occasion. But I'm not one of those people who's like, no taxes, anarchy. But this theoretical
you and me would get our fucking ass kicked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
this theoretical person is very, very conservative when it comes to where his tax money will go, and he doesn't want to. We're just saying that this theoretical person is now living in the actualized world, right? In a world where, depending on where he lives, I shouldn't necessarily say in America, because here in America, I don't know the specifics of Obamacare, but I'm pretty fucking sure that, it's nowhere near as all-inclusive as the NHS is. You still have to pay into it. The NHS is basically, everybody gets taxed the same for NHS in the UK, and then you go to the doctor, and then depending on, you have to go through all this approval process, really. It's not something I'm going to get into it in depth.
Please don't.
You have to get approval from one doctor to another doctor to another doctor to as you elevate your condition, this guy has lung cancer, we think he has lung cancer, so we're sending him to this specialist, and you can only see that specialist if you refer to the other doctor, whereas in America you can literally just kind of walk into the specialist, the lung cancer specialist, and be like, scan my fucking lungs, bitch. As long as you're willing to pay, of course.
Right. I mean,
but
that makes sense.
The problem is that when
makes a lot of sense.
The problem with the tax issue is that conceptually and theoretically we are opposed to our money going to things that we do not want it to go to as individuals. But we also have to accept as a fact that the tax system and the government apparatus that handles the tax income and the disbursement of tax money into various programs cannot account for every individual's desires and wishes. So we take the average of these essentially we take the average. Because that's a very, very it's such a huge task that it would require the government to be even bigger than it already is. You'd have to have
that makes sense. Yeah. You can't even put up a log on and sign up. You can't even do that. So
exactly.
Right.
I think I think it's a little ambitious to poll the entire world for exactly where they want the tax money to go when and people.
We went to the fucking moon because we were ambitious.
Did we really go to the moon, Mark?
I don't disagree.
We went into space because we were ambitious.
Okay.
I don't disagree that human ambition
possible, right?
A good thing. I just don't think that I think that human ambition needs to be channeled to more important things. Like, there's only so much we
Prostitution
can care
and
about
weed.
It's why nobody, like, there's people who aren't, wringing their fucking hands every night about the state of children in Africa, because we simply have more important things as people in the third world, or as people in the first world to worry about, right?
Listen, if someone's gonna get my diamonds, I don't want those kids dying of AIDS.
Wow. We can't even take care of our own fucking country. What the fuck are you talking about and shit?
I'm being a fucking complete asshole. Sorry.
Not even.
I do need to go, guys. So I mean, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed the talk. I enjoyed the podcast.
Thank you.
You guys obviously don't have to stop on my account, but I do need to get going.
We were actually gonna stop right now.
Were we about to? You can close it properly then. I'll stick around for us to close it properly if that was your next thing before I interrupted you.
Wow, this guy's telling us what to do on our
I'm
own
not telling you
fucking
what to do.
podcast.
I'm giving you the option. I will stay if that is what you want.
Either take this dick or you're gonna get it. What the fuck kind of shit is
Dude, I'm
that?
gonna fucking shove my dick so far down your throat that you're not gonna be able to talk for a year.
My throat's already sore, sir. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Anyway,
me as a fucking asshole, then I'm gonna be an asshole. Fuck you too.
Listen, I really enjoyed this podcast, and I'll tell you what.
I didn't. I fucking hate you.
No, Zara. let me tell you something. Before me and Mark started doing this, I was doing my own podcast with Zara and a bunch of other people and shit, and we got people to listen, but not as many as we've been getting lately. This is fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. I don't understand this shit. This is fucking bonkers. Whatever.
Well, I listened to your first podcast last week, and honestly, it seemed to me to be a lot more organized. And I don't even mean like organized in the sense that you guys had a strict itinerary of things you were going to go over, but it seemed a lot more. It was less chaotic, and with less people talking. It's just easier to follow, and it's easier to get into. Whereas the other podcast, we had like 6 people, right?
We had 6 people on at the same time because
it was crazy.
Why do we even do that?
That's the problem, dude. Joe Rogan has the best format. You have, I think, the most he's ever had on there on his show is 5 people.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. He's some douchebag. He's some douchebag who makes people eat balls and stuff. He's a fucking asshole.
Forget about him.
Fuck that guy. He's fucking stupid. Hey.
Excuse me. Listen, Mark has this like. I'm gonna shit on this girl right now. I don't even know this woman. Mark has like this like some person that lives with him. I don't even know. Is her name Andrea? I don't know. But she starts speaking Italian. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck?
that was not her at all.
Who was it?
My girlfriend. That was my girlfriend.
That was actually your woman?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to stab her.
You're in trouble.
I don't give a fuck.
No, it's hilarious.
She starts speaking Italian. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you, Joe Pesci and shit with tits? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Why you look at Joe Pesci?
What are you gonna do about it?
Listen, I've lived in Massachusetts long enough. That is hilarious.
Listen.
That's, oh my god, the only reason that I'm probably still here is because I can drive around with my windows down and mock the fuck out of the people that live in this state.
What kind of douchebag are you, man?
Yo, what are you fucking talking about?
Wow.
Listen, you gonna call me a fucking douchebag? Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. I wanna fucking sit here and wanna talk about whatever the fuck I want, and you're gonna say to me, I'm a douchebag. Listen, you don't know the fucking first thing about driving your fucking car or getting fucking. You ever see the fucking moon and the clouds that are just fucking living there?
What the?
Around the fucking. What? Fuck you.
You gotta be kidding. This guy sounds like a like.
You gotta fucking. You kidding me? You're fucking kidding me, okay?
Like the nerd version of fucking Scarface. We're back to square one.
I don't know. That's what people from Massachusetts sound like to me.
That's disgusting. So, I'm gonna throw up now.
You fucking call me disgusting.
Listen, Zara, Mr. Zara, come back soon, man. Come back to the podcast.
No, don't. It's a trap.
Oh, it's a trap.
Oof.
I just heard him too.
Yeah, I know. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's in the background getting ready to pick up a car. I bet you anything he's not even a philosopher. He's just some fucking scumbag douchebag who, like, steals cars from fucking poor families and shit.
With a fucking mustache.
Yeah.
Hair. Fuck that guy.
Looking like a pedophile back in the
I'm gonna
70s.
kick you in the dick.
Oh.
No, for real though. Like, no, I'll come if you ever want me to come back. I'll come back and talk some more about shit. I know that like last night we had, as you put it, you were sad that we weren't recording, so it was such a great discussion.
Oh, we had a great discussion. It was fucking awesome. It was awesome. But I don't know who we're gonna have next week, but it's gonna be a great show next week. But anyway, Zara, we're gonna see you in a couple weeks. Regardless, you're gonna be like, listen. When we had the podcast, you were always the really intelligent guy. Besides, of course, Zach. That was a joke.
That
Yeah.
guy was always cool.
Oh God, fuck you. When you call my nephew the N-word, that's where the fucking line ends. Don't do that shit.
Boner.
Oh. Well, then
I said boner.
that makes much sense. All right, well, that's the.
Zara, do you have any
Oh yeah.
site? Do you have anything you wanna?
Hit you up on Twitter at fucking small dick douchebag at twitter.com or whatever.
That's mine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got those confused.
In the future, I'm gonna try and make an online presence of some sort. It's not on my priorities right now. Once I'm finished with my shit, once I'm finished with my school, probably it's gonna be in like about 4 months. I'm gonna be done with that shit forever, and then I'm probably gonna start working on making some sort of mark for myself online. When that happens, I will let you know.
I have a
like I said,
I got a question for you.
Like I said before, you're more than as long as I know ahead of time and I can make time to do it, I'm more than willing to come and talk to you guys on there.
Cool. I'm sure we'll know what's up tomorrow.
I loved having you all last year on my last podcast, and granted it was just a complete fuckery, but this time we're doing it right. Appreciate you for everything. Hey, are you still coming to Texas?
This summer I think I might, yeah.
Oh man,
let me know when you are.
Get your dicks ready, bitches. Fucking Zara's coming to town, cocksucker.
We have a live podcast with like strippers and beer.
Oh yeah, the strippers.
Listen. We'll set that shit up. All of us.
Really?
Okay.
You come to,
no, for real.
You coming to Texas too?
We'll figure it out.
You heard it here, you fucking savages. You fucking sluts.
All right.
All right. Well, that's the end of that. I mean, shit. We'll be back next week. Mark, don't go anywhere. I gotta talk to you for this shit. But fuck it, we gotta go. Everyone, everybody put your dicks in the air. If your mom's not fucking your dad tonight, you got some fucking problems. I'm telling you right now, motherfuckers. You tell your fucking mom in the morning while she's making you waffles, you better suck my dad's dick, bitch.
I say it all the time. In the meantime, before you do that, go to Facebook.com, 99Proof Podcast.
99Proof, bitch.
YouTube.com/99Proof Podcast.
We're getting that shit on iTunes tonight, cocksuckers.
iTunes, we're getting that set up. Mixlr.com/99Proof Podcast. Podbean.com Podcast 99Proof, and on Twitter at 99Proof Tweets.
Are you even tweeting? Are you tweeting?
I have not been doing that.
What the
lazy
fuck?
as fuck, but we'll do that. So that's what's up. My nipples.
You know what's up? My dad's dick in my mom's pussy.
Cup shot.
Nine proof, bitch.
Bitch. 99 proof?